Alleluia. Om Mani Padme Om. Allah Satnam.
Welcome. You're watching Harmony and Diversity, and we're speaking with Genevieve Marie. Genevieve, thank you for coming back in again.
Pleasure.
As we discussed last week, we'll talk about the Eckankar religion.
Sure.
Which needs some elucidation, I'm sure, but let me just give you a quote here.
Okay.
I was looking for a way to sort of enter into Eckankar, and Sri Harold Klemp is the current master.
Correct.
And I quote from his book, one of his books, Secret of Love. The soul's whole purpose for being in this world, is to find divine love. Is that a good ground on which to start a discourse about Eckankar?
I think so. I think it's really defining as an ekkas your purpose. It's about love, divine love, unconditional love.
Yes.
And it's a word you often hear, but not always easy to practice. And as an ekkas, it's a continuous journey where you learn about yourself, and you learn your limitations, and you learn your strengths, and on your journey to God, how you express that divine love. It's about expressing it.
Expressing divine love.
It's one thing knowing about it, but how does one express it?
How does one live it? Well, so how did Eckankar start?
Well, Eckankar has been around since the beginning of time, and it's had different Eckmasters teaching in different parts of the world. But the modern day founder of Eckankar, so it came in the modern times in 1965, so we just celebrated 50 years last year, which was a great celebration, and his name was Paul Twitchell, and he was the Eckmaster for a while, and then Harold took over. Now I should know the date, but I don't, so sorry about that. So he became the Eckmaster, and part of his role as the outer master is to write books. As you mentioned, he's written a few books. He speaks at seminars, but his most important role is as the inner master. That's your inner guide. He works with us in dreams. Dreams are very valid and important in Eckankar, so he works with us that way. But also just everyday guidance. You don't have to be asleep to get his guidance. You'd be, going along, and if you needed some assistance, all you need to do is ask. May not be the answer you want, but it's the answer that's correct for that situation or at that time. And, I live my life by that guidance.
Right. So it's a fairly powerful experience for you.
For myself, yeah.
How does that run parallel to where does your deep Catholic, past Catholic faith run in there? Where does that sit with
it's a good question. I think when I was... See, we believe as soul, we choose a family. So I would have chosen that family and that religion to be born into. And so I believe the discipline and the love for God started back then.
Right.
And now it's the next step of how to experience God now and how to live that. So, although I've changed religion, I still love God. It's just doing it a different way.
Yes.
And having different beliefs now, but it's still about God. It's still about love.
What are the basic beliefs for Eckankar, Genevieve?
Well, I guess the most important one is we believe that we are soul as opposed to having a soul.
Right.
And as soul, we have all the answers if we trust, I guess, the guidance.
Yes.
So once you have that trust and you understand where your guidance is coming from, then the answers come easily. We may not always like the answers we get, but it would definitely be the appropriate one.
Yes. So those answers, they come through dreams, but
yes, not only through dreams. So in history, it was almost accepted that people would had prophetic dreams.
Yes.
But then it sort of went out of fashion, and then you got dream dictionaries or people trying to interpret your dreams for you, where the dreams is really coded for you.
That's right.
You know, it's coded for you.
Yes.
And so we keep dream journals. We record our dreams every day. I've got boxes of journals at home that I go back to occasionally when they do come true and say, aha, I can tick that one. That one did happen. Amazing. Yeah.
Okay. And so in what other ways would your soul have access to?
Yes, well, in every way and any way. So if you have a question, should I take this job? And please let me know by the end of today. You might be walking along, someone will have a T-shirt that says, do it. You know, Nike, do it. And then there's a certain feel when you actually get that message.
Yes.
There's a certain feel, and there's no mistaking it. Otherwise, your mind would have, field day, trying to say, hey, it means this, it means that. But when it actually comes from the divine, you don't mistake it, and you'll just go ahead and you'll do exactly as you're guided.
So it's really quite a direction of faith. You have strong faith in this guidance.
Yeah, I guess most religions are like that.
Oh yes, they are.
You know, it's what you're told and what you're guided to do. You believe that wholeheartedly, and you move forward doing that.
Does that always come through the medium of Sri Klemp, or is it more open?
Yeah,
more general?
Look, the inner master is one we're very comfortable in, we know, but there's also other Ek masters that we get to know on the inner or in the dream state, and you become familiar with them and you work with them as well.
Right.
So there's a whole line of Ek masters in Eckankar, and they come around and they assist you when you need assistance.
So that sort of has some sort of parallel with going back to your previous Catholicism with the saints and the access to that.
Absolutely. Yes. I love the stories about the saints. I was fascinated and always wondered why they had such a hard time convincing people of their experiences. But,
You mentioned time.
Yes.
We're out of it. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. You're watching Harmony and Diversity, and we're speaking with Genevieve Marie. And Genevieve, we were talking about the basic beliefs of the religion itself. We talked about soul.
Yeah.
What are some of the others?
Okay. Well, we believe that soul is here to gain experience and also work off karma. Okay. We believe in past lives, therefore reincarnation.
Yes.
And karma. And so when I started to learn about this, it made a lot of sense, because before it felt like the world was not just. Why would someone be born poor and hungry, and someone, a king with too much to eat, say? Why would that be fair? Why would God create such a uneven world, if you like? When I understood karma, that we've lived successive lives and we're here to learn about love again, we'll be placed in particular families, a particular sex, country, religion, and from there it's the best place for us to learn.
Right. So we're evolving spiritually.
Yes, we are evolving spiritually, and our experiences, and unfortunately it tends to be the harder challenges that really get us to look at and ask the question why. And we believe when you are ready to see perhaps why you are in the situation you are, if there's a karmic reason for that, it will show itself when you're ready to see it.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So we've got into a place where we're on this spiritual line where we're being informed by our soul, and we're evolving towards the ultimate, which is the pure love itself.
Yeah, the pure love, yeah.
Are they the two basic principles?
Yes, so a belief in dreams, reincarnation, karma, past lives, the inner master, we call him the Mahanta, and so working with him as well, and just growing spiritually, giving people space and giving yourself space. So it can be a very rich life as an ekis.
Yes, it can. Just talking about that, how numerous are ekists? Do you have a big congregation, or...?
No, I don't think we are a big religion. We're a young religion, as I told you before. In 1965, we've come out. I don't have exact numbers, but I do know that we are in 154 countries. So people have found it everywhere. And so, but in Melbourne itself, I think we're just under 200.
Right. Yes, it is widespread. It's quite remarkable.
Yes.
And so that 200 or so, do you come together?
Yep, we get together once a month. We have what we call a worship service, although we don't actually worship. What we do, we have a reading, we might have a speaker, and then we break into groups, and then we discuss our experiences, because we're all about experience. So, for example, in February, we're having the worship service. The title is, What Are You Learning Now?
Right.
So that is the topic. And so there'll be lots of discussion. There'll be lots of experiences to share.
Yes. So you're self-informing as a group. You're enriching your experience from, as you say, experience.
Experience.
Yes.
And we also have satsangs, which is study classes, where you meet as a group on a monthly basis with a teacher, a trained teacher, and the study lasts for 17 years. And I'm coming to the end of my studies now as an ekis. And it's a book and it's discourses. You read a chapter every month, and then again you get together and you discuss and you learn and you teach. It's really good.
Oh, that's so. When you're teaching, when you say you get to the end of your 17 year, and you're teaching, are you regarded any differently? Are you given a title, or
No, you're given a title when you do your teacher training, if you like. We call arahatas, we call teachers, and you just teach, and then when you finish, you just start again, or you join a class, or you teach a class, you know. So it's up to you how you move. Some people do the learning at home and they don't join groups. They might come to book studies, they might come to Hugh chants. So it's one of freedom. So whatever suits you is what you do.
Yeah. So the Hugh chants, Hugh chants, are they separate from the monthly meetings, or
every meeting we have there's a Hugh somewhere along the way. So before you start a class, you Hugh. Before you start your worship service, you Hugh. And the Hugh chants are done every Friday in Moorabbin, where our centre is, and everything's open to the public. And you can come along and chat, talk about your experience, or do the chant with us, whatever suits you.
And do you find that there are people who are attracted to that?
Yes, some people come along, and a lot of people want to talk about their experiences. You know, they've experienced this, or they've heard a sound that they can't explain, or they've seen a light, or they've seen something they can't explain, and so they come to us, or they don't come to us, they come to our meeting, and then we share, we talk about that. And so people find us and they discuss that, and then they either stay and join, or they go on with their lives.
So it's even though it's not huge, it's spread widely,
it is.
And it has a concept behind it where people believe enough in it to come together and to share that.
Correct.
And it's directed towards peace and love. That's got to be good. That has got to be good. So you mentioned dreams. We'll come back to dreams because, as you said when we spoke about it before, dreams have been sort of abused a bit and sort of taken on by a whole cultish sort of approach.
Yes.
Perhaps we could talk a bit more about how they work
Sure.
in the ecist, from
Yes.
the ecist perspective.
Sure.
So, take just a dream. Define to me a dream. What's it look like? It's in your sleep process, isn't it? We're talking
It is
about.
in your sleep process. And because we pay attention to it, okay, so you're not going to go to bed when you're dead tired. You set yourself up to have a dream, in a sense.
Yes.
You've got your dream journal beside you.
Okay.
And you can ask a question or you can just let it be, and a dream will come through.
I must have been dreaming when I asked you that question because it's a long question.
Okay.
We'll go to a break.
Okay.
We'll be back in a moment.
Mani Allah. Alleluia. Mani Allah.
Welcome back. You're watching Harmony and Diversity, and we're speaking with Genevieve Marie. And we're speaking with Genevieve Marie about the significance of dreams. And I asked the question before the break, which was a very long question.
What does a dream look like?
That's right. What's a dream look like, in the sense that clearly there's going to be, well, I say clearly, perhaps it's not, that there'll be dreams which will be more significant than others. Is that right? Is that an appropriate observation?
Well, in the way I look at dreams, every dream is significant, even though I don't understand what it means at that time.
Yes, okay.
At that time. But later on, I'll often say, that's what it meant.
Right, okay.
Is that what's going to happen? And then it makes sense, because you can imagine the amount of dreams that we get.
Yes.
We're not going to get an explanation on everything straight away. But as we're ready and the situation rises,
Yes.
then the dream will come to mind, and there you will have the answer.
Okay.
And you'll be able to move forward calmly and with confidence. No matter what it looks like on the outside, it's going to be the right thing.
Okay.
It's always about that inner guidance and that assurance that no matter what it looks like, it's the right thing,
It's
and
the
just
right
move forward.
Yeah. Once again, coming down that trust and faith
Yes.
in the process
Yeah.
itself.
Yes, how it works.
Yeah.
And watching it in other people's lives. Because often you want a situation to be a certain way, but karmically that person needs to go down a certain road. I think I was speaking to you about my daughter before. She was diagnosed with MS. And when she rang me up at work to say, yes, Mum, it is final or confirmed that I do have MS, although I feel I'm quite strong, I was quite devastated. And I asked permission to go home. I went home and I was just about to hit the bed and have a big cry. And this is what we call a waking dream, or golden tongue wisdom in this case, where I hear the voice that says, go to the library, there's something there for you. Well, really, I'd rather just have a big cry, but I know that is divine guidance, and to ignore that is not being respectful. Not being respectful. Because there's a gift in this, I know there is. So I go to the library, I get a book, new books come in, overcoming MS, not living with MS. And that led to going to a lecture with this fellow, with my daughter Chelsea, reading about the possibilities of living a normal life. And there she went. After a few years, she moved to Byron, got the vitamin D, the sunshine, learned how to surf. So you can imagine, I've been a carer, I know what MS can look like. There's my girl, not only walking, but surfing,
Yes.
and doing, quite well. Now that may not always be the case, but it is right now. And the guidance will change accordingly. So whether it's through the dreams or through, that inner guidance, we move forward with every situation, knowing God has planned it, and it's going to go through a certain way, and you're going to be okay with it, and everyone is going to be okay with it.
And so you keep a journal?
Yes, I keep a journal. So that incident that I just referred to, that's documented. That's in my dream. That's in my dream journal.
In your dream journal.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you can sometimes have an event which occurs, and you can match it back to a dream.
Yes. There's been some big events where I've gone back and ticked it because it did happen. You know, and that's just, I don't have to do, that's just confirmation for myself.
Just for you, yes.
Yeah.
The interesting thing with dreams is many people don't, well, they say they don't remember their dreams. They certainly, everyone dreams, but they don't remember them. Do you have, or do ecists have a training to remember their dreams?
No. Before I became an ecus, I didn't remember my dream. They weren't important. In fact, I used to be annoyed when people used to talk about dreams because I thought it was a waste of time. But once I became an ecus, because it was through actually a dream that led me to Eckankar in the first place, and I started to pay attention to it, then the dreams came. The dreams came.
You also have spiritual art, which is driven partly by dreams, don't you?
Yeah. Look, we believe inspiration for everything comes from dreams. Whether it's spiritual art, we have quite beautiful artwork at the temple of Eckankar, which is found in Chanhassen, Minneapolis, Minnesota. But songs, ideas, movies, poems, poetry, all sorts of things come from dreams. You know, often people wonder where the idea comes from, but if they were recording their dreams, it's likely, not always, likely to be from there.
There's some fairly powerful things surrounding the hue as well, aren't there, as far as internal movements?
The hue is used not to change anything in the world. The hue is just a love song to God. So you use, well, I wake up in the morning and I hue. If I go to sleep, I hue. On the way here, I hued. And it's just calms you to start off with. It gives you any guidance that you need. And people also use it for protection. So there's lots of stories of people who've been in car crashes and the car's spinning around. They just hue and things can change, you know, and we open to any sort of change. We just hue and then we trust.
That whole process of sounds are important to Eckankar, aren't they? I'm just pulling a little chart out here where there's a whole lot of moving towards God realization, and I see the hue at the top of that, obviously. But it moves up through things like running water and a humming sound and the sound of 1,000 violins, etc.
I can speak to you about that. I was in New Ecus maybe 6 months in. I went to a worship service. We start off with a hue, and as we were hewing, I could hear this orchestra. And I'm thinking, who's put on a CD player? It must be next door. So I peeped my eyes open to have a look, and as I did, I realised the sound was within me. And that was just, you know, amazing. So I just went with it. And I just didn't say anything about it at the time. It was just too big. But yes, sound, Eckankar is a religion of light and sound. So you either experience it through sounds, or sometimes through your third eye or your spiritual eye, you see the light.
Eckankar is big, so is time.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You've been watching Harmony and Diversity. We'll be back next week. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Baha'u'llah, Shanti Om.